Hi all, in this video we'll try to talk about Aslesha nakshatra. Aslesha nakshatra varies from 16 degree 40 minutes of Cancer to 30 degree of Cancer. Aslesha lord is Mercury, and if you observe this particular nakshatra in the sky, you can always find a ring-like structure, and that ring-like structure consisting of some stars, like it's something like Epsilon Hydra, Delta Hydra, Mu Hydra, and some Rho Hydra, Sigma Hydra, Zeta Hydra. Like that, you can find some stars in this particular nakshatra. And of course, the brightest one is of visual magnitude 3.12. Of course, it has some brightness here if you observe, and that is of course Zeta Hydra. Now, if you want to understand more about this particular nakshatra, it's mainly in our ancient Vedic culture also, it's represented with an unawakened Kundalini Shakti, the serpent power, but it is unawakened, it's not awakened. So it's like a coiling structure, you can always say, right? It's a coiling structure, but it is not awakened, so it is a bit small here. So all these directly related to the Nagas, the Sheshas, right, we had in our ancient culture. So the coiled snake is the main symbol of this particular nakshatra. So along with its name, this symbol makes it clear that the essence of Aslesha lies in the serpent energy. So it's completely related to the ancient civilization, also the Naga civilization. So most cultures see snakes as a kind of secretive energy. It's a cold-blooded energy, deceptive, insincere, hypnotic, poisonous, right? These are the energies you generally observe. So all these qualities you can find in Aslesha energy very clearly. So on a positive side, if you want to say, this particular Aslesha energy gives you access to some kind of semi-divine powers, you can say that, but it requires severe practice. But if you understand the Aslesha energy more, then you will understand that it's very difficult for them to come out of all their bad qualities and then come into this particular awakening process. So they have by default, they have lot of powers of insight, they have lot of intuition power, the perception, the observation is the key here. Aslesha is nothing but observation, observing others emotions very clearly. So they can very easily identify what is your emotion at your current state. So but unfortunately they will try to exploit your emotions. That is the bad thing you can observe in this Aslesha energy. They have wisdom, they are cunning in nature, they have good concentration power and sexuality also. The intuition, the observation is the key here. The perception, their perception is really great. So if you want a guru who can teach you about others, who can teach you about the world, means the how people behave, what at a particular point of time, what the person is feeling, what kind of emotions a person is actually experiencing. So Aslesha people can identify that very easily. So if you have an Aslesha guru, then he can really tell you all these things, right? Because by default they can experience this, they have this observation and intuition, the perception power, they have exceptional power, right? So it's when you can really observe a Aslesha energy guy or energy female, you can clearly understand this. So in the present times you may find them a bit negative only, because the present culture is something like, if you're trying to emotionally take the control of so and so person, you will get some kind of advantage only. So in this kind of society, you may find them a bit negative only. They also try to be in a negative path unless and until they have a very good support of other planets. So brain researchers have now been able to locate the most ancient part of the brain, if you observe. So it is known as the R complex. So here R stands for the reptilian part. So that particular, so all the things that we have discussed so far, the instinctual or the negative qualities of this particular Aslesha, you can find them. So according to our ancient culture, you can find them in this particular R complex, right? So that is the ideology they had. So thus you can clearly, so this particular thing, it's very much clearly shown in the case of reptiles also. So once you are with a Aslesha energy guy or a female, then you can clearly understand this. Now the bad thing about them is they may feel that the other person may not know about this kind of cunning nature of them, but the other person can also easily identify their qualities within some days of time itself, right? It's very easy. If the other person is very much above average minded, also they can clearly understand the behavior of Aslesha energy people, and they will ultimately they will take care, right? So it is very interesting here. The DNA, the building block of our genetic code, has a helical and also this coiled serpent shape. It's similar to the Aslesha symbol. So you can clearly see Aslesha has a lot to do with the genetic heritage or the past karma bringing what they bring to this particular life, connecting to the past life. So they are very much connected to the past life. So past life karma, the karma baggage, right? Only that kind of people can have more Aslesha energy, you can say. So Aslesha is supposed to be ruled by the celestial serpent kingdom, you can clearly say, because you always talk about snakes only here, right? That kind of energy, the behavior of snake only you try to explain here. Whatever qualities, the observation, the institution, the intuition, all the qualities that we have discussed so far. So in Vedic mythology, you can clearly see Nagas and other types of serpents. They always have whatever in the all 14 lokas they describe, right? In all of them, you can always find this Nagas related energy, and of course they explained this kind of energy on an earthly plane also, right? Even under the lakes or rivers or oceans or in different lokas, wherever they try to explain Nagas, they try to explain this kind of behavior. So Aslesha, it's mysterious. Another thing is mysterious because even these Nagas exist in some unknown worlds also, so they have some kind of mysterious nature also. So serpents are necessary for the proper functioning of the universal affairs. If you observe, for the functioning of all the lokas very properly, this particular Naga energy is also required. So even you can understand in the Samudra Manthan story, right, when they got the nectar, there also they used a Naga only, right, in order to get the nectar. So these things are required for the universal functioning. So this is one of the major things, and wherever even in the Ramayana, Rama and Lakshmana is treated as the Adisesha. Adisesha is incarnated as Lakshmana, and Mahavishnu is incarnated as Rama. So even in the Puranas, it is very much depicted, it is very much clearly explained that whenever Lord Mahavishnu is taking birth as a human, Adisesha is also taking as a birth. So it's clearly showing the importance of Naga for the fulfillment of for the fulfillment of desires, for achieving a task, for task to be completed, so that Naga energy is also required, right? So this kind of Aslesha energy is very much required for getting the things done, right? So you can clearly understand they always try to get the things done by hook or crook, right? So the negative types of serpents, however, they really need to be, so just like the negative aspects of human behavior, the negative aspects of human behavior is something like playing with the emotions and make use of others' emotions, or by observing others, what kind of advantage we can get. And one important thing about the negative Aslesha energy is, once they get their things done, they are very much ruthless. So they show courtesy as a key to attract you, to make yourself comfortable. So they seem to be very good, especially the negative Aslesha energy, it's really dangerous. It's something like, once their things are done, they are going to be very much ruthless. So this particular Aslesha is unawakened Kundalini energy also. So if they come out of all the selfishness they have, this kind of playing with the emotions of others, so all this kind of behavior, if they come out of all these negative qualities, then only this particular Kundalini awakening, the spiritual process, will start from them, for them. Whereas if you observe the other nakshatra, something, it's all that is Uttara Bhadrapada, which is also related to this particular Naga related energy, it's a kind of a bit awakened Naga energy, awakened Kundalini energy. So that is a bit better compared to Aslesha energy. So that is the main quality of Aslesha. So you need to be very careful, and if you are an above average minded person, definitely you can clearly understand the negative Aslesha energy. So some Aslesha energy people are very much attractive, so with them you have to be very careful, because Nagas can attract others very easily. So this is also there. So naturally they have a suspicious look, and they have, if you are above average minded person, you can clearly understand the facial attractiveness is the main key for them. The negative Aslesha, mainly they may have some kind of facial attractiveness, they have some sexually appealing bodies also. By that you may get into the trap sometimes, especially the negative Aslesha people I am talking about. So their movements are also very similar to that of snakes. So they are very conscious of how they move and how their movement arouses sexual passion in others. So they clearly know this. So they are really, they use this kind of courtesy or humor, or even they are good singers also. You can see they have very passionate about music, right? So all these qualities they may show in order to trap other person. So you just need to be very careful about the negative Aslesha people, right? So something like the words used generally are the cold-blooded or something like ruthless. So you have to be very careful. So they are always trying to be scheming and plotting. They have some kind of plans when it comes to climbing a particular social ladder. So let us say they have some objective, right? You can find them anywhere. You can find them in your studies you may find them, or you may find them in a government office, you may find them as a musician, or anywhere you can find them. So they want to make themselves appear to be higher in the rank in a social ladder. So for that purpose they may try to exploit others' emotions. So when generally people suggest, when you are really want to be in a love relationship with a negative Aslesha energy personality, then you have to be very careful. Otherwise you feel very painful. It would be very painful because they are very much attractive. Basically they will try to attract you with a lot of the things, because you can clearly understand their movements. They clearly know what kind of movements of them will attract you. So they will try to show that kind of movements before you. They will try to attract you. They may have some plans for you. So with those plans they will try to achieve some good rank in the social structure. So finally you may get trapped, and whatever behavior they showed, that would be fake, and you will be trapped and you will feel the pain and all the stuff. So before going into the love relationship with a negative Aslesha energy personality, you have to be very much careful, and you can accept them as your gurus. That is one of the best things you can do, because these are the guys having lot of perceptiveness about the society. Their observation is exceptional, so you can learn about the society, you can learn about the people better when you come in contact with an Aslesha energy personality. So Aslesha element is really required to teach you something better in your life, right? To teach you about the people around you also. So your perception about the people around you would be different before coming into the contact with an Aslesha energy personality. And once you come in contact with the Aslesha energy personality, you will understand how the people behave. You can clearly differentiate between the people, because their selfishness also can teach you something better in most of the situations, because they know how to exploit others. And the fundamental thing is the other people can clearly understand that this particular negative Aslesha energy personality is deceiving them. So obviously they will come to know different ways of deceiving others. So you can be very careful by learning all those techniques from them. So it is one of the best things to have the Aslesha energy personality as your friend or as your guru. So Aslesha natives can be the most mean in regards to financial affairs. So their miserliness never pays in the end, as they always end up having losses one way or the other. That is another thing you have to consider, because their life is all about deceiving others, especially the negative Aslesha energy people, deceiving others and getting deceived by others. Their life is all about this: deceiving others, exploiting others, and then again some other person would deceive them, so they are also getting deceived. So the presence of Aslesha, the negative Aslesha, works these two ways. It's something like one deceives others and gets deceived by others. So many Aslesha natives, you can find them, they are the victims, because they want to use others, but finally they turned out to be the victims of their own plans, because they already carrying a lot of negative karma, right? The negative Aslesha people, especially, I am telling you, they are already having a lot of negative karma with them, and again if they want to deceive others, then it's going to add a additional bad karma to them. So finally they are going to be the victims. You can clearly see them at the end of their life, they would become victims. I'm talking about the negative Aslesha energy people. So especially the planets like Sun and Jupiter placed in Aslesha, not going to be very good. So they may try to give some negative traits. So Aslesha shows great interest in food, so especially when it is not sattvic and prepared by others. So they like the food prepared by others, not the food prepared by themselves. And they don't like the sattvic energy food. They always like to have some non-vegetarian, right? They like that what is that, the kind of non-vegetarian, you can say the chicken, mutton, whatever, the flesh, right? Means flesh in the sense only the chicken, mutton, all these things, the non-vegetarian items, you can say. So Aslesha natives find themselves at home in hotels, bars, restaurants, and this kind of places, because they like food. Basically they like non-vegetarian food, you know. So they cannot bear any kind of hunger. If they have some kind of hunger, they want to eat something delicious. So they directly want to go to some restaurant. They have this kind of zeal to go to any restaurant, and they want to experience that first of all, you know. So, and even they don't like throwing away the food also, because they like the food a lot, right? So they can go to real extremes in this regard. I'm telling you, I need to learn, they need to learn this kind of thing. Having a lot of interest on food, of course it is good, but having too much interest on food, especially the non-vegetarian items, and every time going to hotels and all this stuff may not be very good for health also in these days. So, and also they are represented with this energy. People are represented with snakes, so they have liking towards kind of drugs, pharmaceuticals, or the allopathy related stuff, antibiotics. So they are also related to this kind of stuff, you know. So they can do very good in this pharmaceutical industry, and they are by default they like music a lot, so they can become very great singers also. So Aslesha natives enjoy business activities, you know, and those business activities mainly mean something like they never employ straightforward methods in business. Also they want some type of cheating. They want some type of deception to be involved if they want to do some business. They like to do that kind of activities, even though if it is straightforward, they may not enjoy it much, you know. They find humor in tricking others, especially the negative Aslesha energy people. So they like mental games, the strategies, the emotional exploitation is the key word you can use here. They like this mental gaming, you know, the strategic gaming. So they are very good detectives. They can haunt you. They can really keep an eye on you, and finally they can try to exploit you, and finally this bad karma will add to you, and they will become the final victims in their whole game, right? Even though they win temporarily, this is going to add some kind of negative karma to them, so it is going to spoil their own life. So I'm only talking about the negative Aslesha people here, okay? So this is one of the important things you can understand. If you think of the characteristics of this Aslesha energy more, so it's something like cats and snakes come into the picture here. It's very easy. Something like the cunningness, the calculativeness, the caution, the cold-bloodedness. These are the words that you can really feel the energy of this particular Aslesha energy related personalities. So the only way Aslesha natives can use their singularly negative traits in a positive manner is by aligning themselves with universal will. So they have to come out of all these negative traits, then they will see spirituality for sure. The key for utilizing Aslesha in a positive way is to overcome one's very hard-rocking heart and hard-rocking selfishness. That's it. If they come out of that selfishness, playing game with others, playing the emotional games with others, if once they come out of this, yes, really they will see the spirituality. That is one of the best things that they have in their plate. So having done that, suspicion will turn into this kind of wisdom. They have the spirituality once they come out of this selfishness. Once they come out of selfishness, before that you may find them as suspicious characters, mysterious characters, emotional game players. But once they come out of the selfishness, you find them as wisdom players. They are they are the people of wisdom. You feel this kind of energy. They are very spiritual. They are going to be the gurus, right, once they come out of the selfishness. So that is, they have this kind of plan, the universal plan, that is spiritual awakening, right. So one has to face all the dark demons, right, then only they can then only they can be purified, you can say, right. There is one school of thought: once you have all the negative things in your mind, and if you keep on doing the negative things, then one day you will really understand what for you're doing all the negative things, right. Then you will realize and you will be spiritual. This is one school of thought. So this is another way of spiritual awakening. So that is Aslesha's natural tendency to look under the surface has to be utilized for understanding the hidden elements of nature's functionings, the spiritual things. They can be very good detectives also, because they can see what is under the surface, you know, and also the underbelly part, just below the belly, you know, the Mooladhara chakra, whatever you say, that kind of part is clearly represented by this Aslesha energy. So they have the power to, generally they have this power to play the games, the emotional games, right. So the symbolism has it's like approaching serpent above, right. It's just like the Kundalini awakening is about to start, that kind of symbolism you can clearly see. So this is the basic and fundamental nature of Aslesha energy. But generally people try to give some kind of negative traits to Aslesha energy, but the positive trait is the spirituality only, following the spiritual path once they come out of the selfishness. That is one of the best things. So they have this spiritual planning, the universal planning for them. So Aslesha is considered to be an active nakshatra. Aslesha on the surface often appears to be a passive nakshatra, but it is very active. They like the food, they like to go to the restaurants, they like singing. Just see this whole qualities, they are very active, they are not passive. But just before knowing them, if you just see them, you may feel them passive, but they are not at all passive, they are very active. So because it has that kind of hidden energy, it's an unawakening Kundalini, that is the image of them, right. So everything is a kind of hidden energy. So even if an Aslesha native seems to be physically passive, so one will find that they are very much active in the mental plane. Even if they are sitting very quietly, their mental functioning is very quick. It's always some mental strategies are going on in the background. So they are very good strategists here. So the strategic mind can be utilized in winning wars or in this kind of activities better. They utilize this kind of energy, right, because this kind of emotional planning is also an art, right. So we have to accept that. So let's try to understand about Aslesha energy more in our next video. Thanks for watching this video.